Hi guys, it's Miss G here. Tuning in today, I'm going to teach you some maths. I'm going to show you how to use just the items that you've got in your house, anything that's a cuboid, and how to calculate the volume of that. So when we're calculating the area of something, as you already know, we're talking about something flat, and we've got the length, and we've got the width, or some people might call this breadth. So we've got two measurements. So if I was saying that this was 100 centimetres, I would write it as 100 centimetres squared. And the little 2 at the top is representing that there's two measurements that we're taking. So when we're doing a 3D shape, there's actually at least 3 measurements that we're going to take. So I've got my cuboid here. This, I think, is actually a piece of play cheese because I have little people that come to my house. So you can see I've got the length, I've got the width or the breadth, but I've also got the height. So there's going to be 3 measurements that I'm taking here. So instead of having a small 2 at the top, I'm going to have a small 3, and that's representing that it's cubed. Now, when we're talking about centimetres cubed, we're actually talking about how many cubes of centimetres would fit inside the shape. If you just look at my phone here, you can see we have these in school and we use them all of the time. We use them to represent ones often when we're doing calculations, but this is a 1 centimetre cube. So when we're talking about cubing a shape, we're actually talking about how many of those centimetres, if that's the measurement that we're using, would fit inside the shape. So let's go back to my piece of toy cheese, which you can see is also a cuboid. And I've got my ruler because I'm going to do this to scale. I want to know what the actual measurements are. I'm going to have 3 measurements. It doesn't matter which one you start off with. So my first one, I'm going to round it to the nearest whole number because we're just learning. My first one's 4 centimetres. So I'm going to write that down. I've got a 4 centimetre length. I'm going to say that's my length for this one. So I've done this one here. I'm going to do my second one here. Let's do the height. So again, I'm rounding to the nearest whole number, and I can see that's 4 centimetres again. So I'm going to write that measurement down. And let's do the width. Again, it doesn't matter which one you're calling it. I'm going to do this long measurement here. So I've done 1, I've done 2, and I'm going to do the third one here. And this is 5 centimetres. So I've got my 3 measurements that I've written down. I have 4 centimetres, 4 centimetres, 5 centimetres. As you can probably remember, if we were calculating the area of a rectangle, I would have 2 measurements and I would multiply them together. Because I've got 3 measurements, I've got 3 measurements that I need to multiply. There's actually 2 steps in this problem. I'm going to start off by doing 4 times 4 because I know that that is 4 squared and I know it's 16. So my calculation that I've got now is 16 times 5. So I know my 5 times table, I'm not too sure on the 16 times table, so I'm just going to use a formal written method to make sure I get the right answer. So I'm going to do 16 times 5, put my multiplication symbol in. So 6 times 5 is 30, or 5 times 6 is 30. Here's my 0, bridge the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, and I've got 3 that I need to add. The answer to this calculation, the volume in centimetres squared of this cuboid is 80 centimetres cubed. So it's as straightforward as that. Obviously, the shapes that get bigger are going to have larger numbers, but I'm going to have a go at another one now with you. So if you want to pause the video after I've given you the measurements, and that's something that you can do. So again, I'm just using things that I've got around the house. This does look like a cuboid that we'd use in school, just because it's part of my little niece's play set. So I'm going to use this pack of cards. So again, I can see that it's a cuboid. It's not going to work with things like cylinders. That's no, we don't do that in Key Stage 2. You'll learn how to do that in Key Stage 3 at secondary school. So again, I'm going to give you the measurements, and if you want to do this yourself, and as soon as you've got 3 measurements, you can pause the video. So again, I'm going to the nearest whole number. We're not going to calculate with decimals yet. So again, it doesn't matter which order I do it in, and I'll show you that this one can be done in 2 different orders. So I'm going to say the height, again, I'm rounding, I'm going to say is 2 centimetres. I'm going to write 2 centimetres down. Let's do the width or the breadth. that's a really easy one, that's 6 centimetres. And the length is my long one on this one, and I'm going to round that, and that's 9 centimetres. So now I've got my 3 measurements. As we know, the multiplication can be done in any order and you'll always get the same answer. So you might choose to do the bigger numbers first, or you might choose to do the times tables that you know. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to do the big numbers first, but I find that easiest. Now luckily I know my 9 times table and I know my 6 times table. So I know that 6 times 9 or 9 times 6 equals 54. So I've used this one, and now I'm only left with 2 centimetres. I'm really lucky on this one because it's an easy one. So I could use my 2 times table, but it'd take me a long time. Or I could use a formal written method. So I'm going to do 54 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. And 2 times 5 is 10. I have no numbers to bridge. 108 centimetres cubed. Again, excuse my horrible writing. So I'm going to do that in a different order this time to show you that it still works. So this time I'm going to do 2 times 9, which I know is 18. And I'm going to times that by 6, which is the number I've got left. 6 times 8 is 48. And I've got a 4 to bridge this time. See, I've got an 8 in both ones columns, so I think it's going to work. 6 times 1 is 6. I've got a 4. And again, 108, and to make my answer perfect, I'm going to add centimetres cubed. So again, I'm going to do one more example. If you want to pause the video, then you can check back in with the answer at the end. So I'm going to use this, one of my favourite products, because I can't get to Costa or Starbucks. It's Kenko Iced Latte, and it's available in all good supermarkets if you want to go and socially distance and get some. So I can see already that this is going to be a larger number, so I'm going to need to make sure I'm really careful. So I've got wad length, I've got 2, and I've got 3, and again, it doesn't matter which order that you do them in. So I have got 9, which is this length here, and I've got, that is 7, and this long length, we can just see that's actually 19, so you can see this is going to be quite a large number. And I'm multiplying. So 9 and 7 and 19. I'm just going to rub out what I've done on here. In fact, I think I will go inside. So 19 centimetres, 9 centimetres and 7 centimetres. And I haven't put cubed on or squared because it's just the length, so it's just one dimension. I'm going to start off with 19 times 9 because that sounds like the most difficult kind of calculation. So 9 times 9 is 81, so I have a 1, then I've got an 8 to bridge, which you can see. And then 9 times 1 is 9, and add 8 gives me 171. So now I've got quite a large calculation that I need to do because I've done the 19, the 9, and now I'm going to do 171 times 7. 121 times 7. So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Bridge the 4. 7 times 1 is 7. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1,197 centimetres cubed. So I'm actually going to check that on a calculator because that was a really big number. So I've got my calculator here, the large one. So I'm just going to check if I can get it on. It's not working, so I'm going to use my phone. So I'm going to check 19 times 9 is 171, which is what I got, and then times 7, 1,197. And that's absolutely fine if you want to do that to check at home. We've all got different things in our house, so there's no point saying, oh, is this right, because we just don't know. If you haven't got a ruler, you could just estimate it, I need to make sure is you've got some cuboids. I've got the world's smallest carton of orange juice there. Guess what? That's not mine. Any cuboids that you've got in the house, obviously make sure it's safe for you to use, so don't go in your mum's medicine cabinet, she won't like it. And have fun working out the volumes of these cuboids, and I'd love to see some pictures on Twitter. If you're in Year 6, post them on our page, or if you're in another class, you can post them on your teacher's page. And as I said, just check them yourselves with the calculator. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. See you later. Stay safe, everyone.